Retiring from the game of cricket and then going into the commentary box is not an uncommon move in the slightest. In fact, you've seen a lot of former pros go into the commentary box and have a long, fruitful time in the sport of cricket getting employed because they turned out to be really, really good at analysing the game, as good, if not better, than they were at playing the game. But in recent years, particularly with the advent of franchise cricket, you've seen something of a reversal happen wherein a lot of players who retired would end up making comebacks, or if not retired, would stop playing active cricket at least at certain levels, were suddenly coming back or making comebacks into franchise. And this is especially true with the IPL. And in fact, a recent example had us actually take a little trip down memory lane and figure out who are some notable players who it seemed like their careers were done, but who suddenly ended up making comebacks to the IPL sides. And there's quite a few interesting names here as well. But we'll start with the name that, of course, sparked this entire debate to begin with. And that is, of course, this man, Kedar Jadav. Now, Jadhav was last seen regularly playing in the IPL in the 2021 season. In 2022, he was in the auction, didn't get picked up. In 2023 as well, he signed up for the auction but did not get picked up, and must have figured that his career was winding down, at least in the IPL, because he ended up signing a contract to become one of the commentators for the digital broadcasters. However, when RCB ended up having a bit of an injury crisis and David Woolley was ruled out, they made the rather surprising decision to sign Kedar Jadav back. Now, again, Jadav had a pretty fruitful time with CSK, but before he was with the Chennai side, he did in fact spend 2 seasons at Bangalore as well. So it's not like this is, a new or an old, new experience for him. He has been part of the franchise before, and it'll be interesting to see, should he get a game, how it is that he'll fare. He has still been playing domestic cricket, but obviously has been away from the limelight, especially considering that at one point he was pretty much a certified starter for the Indian team and was a pretty underrated performer with both the bat as well as the ball. But of course, he isn't the only example. In recent times, you've seen Dinesh Karthik do something exactly similar. In fact, Karthik was part of the commentary team in the British channel Sky Sports, because he was commentating on the WTC final, the World Test Championship final that featured India and New Zealand. So at that point, it seemed like Karthik's active career was definitely winding down, and he did have a few more commentary gigs with Sky Sports where he was pretty well received, although a lot of focus also went on some rather loud shirts that he chose to wear during that stint. Nevertheless, it left a lot of people surprised when in the 2022 IPL auction, despite having spent a good bit of time doing commentary, he was actually picked up by the Royal Challengers Bangalore again. And this time around, it was actually a good second win for him, because so good was he as a finisher for RCB that he ended up getting a surprise recall to the Indian cricket team for the 2022 T20 World Cup as well. Now, that was an experiment that did really anyone any good, but Karthik did actually prove that there was life still in the old warhorse at that point. And he had a pretty good season, coming lower down the order and finishing games for RCB. At number 3, we have Brad Hogg. Now, Hogg's comeback career was something of an inspiration for many, because again, he had retired from international cricket and stepped away from the game altogether, took up commentary, and then realized that he wasn't really enjoying it as much. So he decided to make a comeback to not just international cricket, but also domestic and of course franchise cricket in the Big Bash League. And so good were his performances in the BBL that even for Australia, where he was something of an elder statesman when he did make his comeback, that IPL side Kolkata Knight Riders came calling in 2015. They signed him in the auction as a replacement player, or rather not a replacement, as a backup for Sunil Narine, and he did end up playing a handful of games in that side. In fact, he spent a good 2-3 seasons there, played a lot of games for them, and then once his he was done with his second stint, went back to doing commentary, as well as of course being a pretty popular personality on social media and YouTube. But again, he was another one who was doing commentary. Everyone figured his career was done, and then suddenly out of nowhere he decided it wasn't, and his second win was just as good, if not better, than his prime career. Another one, and these are some more recent examples, Kulkarni was another one who ended up in very recent times. In fact, it was 2022 He was part of the auction pool, didn't get picked, so ended up getting a commentary gig with the host broadcasters. But when Mumbai Indians ended up having a bit of an injury crisis in the middle of the season, they ended up calling Rahul Kulkarni for trials. He was there with them in the nets and was then eventually signed up by the side. Now, granted, he didn't play any games, and in fact, as of this year, has not been picked up by any IPL franchise, but speaks a lot about the kind of experience that he's had in the IPL, that Mumbai were comfortable leaning on him as a backup option to keep in the squad. And truth be told, he's had some good times both with, of course, the Mumbai Indians as well as the Rajasthan Royals. He's a pretty effective operator, and wouldn't have been too surprising to see him get a game. It didn't happen, but as I said, he's held in high enough regard that MI had no hesitation signing him despite the fact that he was doing commentary. And speaking of someone who MI signed up despite the fact that he was doing commentary in the previous season, you have to talk about Piyush Chawla. Piyush Chawla last played the IPL proper in the 2020 and 21 seasons. In 20, he was part of CSK. 21, he was part of MI. But in the 2022 mega auction, he ended up going unsold and was therefore doing commentary work for the host broadcasters. But rather surprisingly, chose to actually enter himself into the auction pool for 2023, because most people figured he's doing commentary, his career would probably be mostly done by this point. But again, another one who's had a really good second wind. In fact, this year he's been arguably the best bowler that MI have had, especially considering the fact that MI's bowling has really been a bit of a weak point, and Chawla has been arguably their most consistent player throughout with the ball. He's been among the wickets, he's been very, very economical, and we know he's a good lower order bat as well. It's been rather surprising considering he's not really been doing much in terms of playing domestic cricket. He's played a few tournaments here or there, but the wily old warhorse shows there's still a little bit of fight left in him and could very well be set for a slightly longer stint this time around. And considering the kind of performances he's had, you can't really blame the franchise for actually choosing to do so. And that's it from us. That's our list of notable players who have in fact gone to commentary, then decided no, we want to play some more, and thus have made IPL comebacks. Thank you guys so much for joining on this video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tap that bell icon, leave us a comment, follow us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook, and don't forget to download the AajTak app as well. Plus, if you're already here on the channel, go ahead, check out some other videos we've done. For now, from my side, goodbye.